So, you think you found the right home. Now what? Now, we write up an offer. Hi, I'm George Poperat with eXp Realty, and I'm here to guide you through the home buying process. So we've done the fun part and looked at a bunch of houses. Now we're going to write up an offer. What goes into writing up an offer? Short answer, a lot. But I'm just going to cover some of the more important aspects of the purchase agreement here. You've got your pre-approval, so that's set. Hopefully you've determined how much you have for down payment. So now the most important part of writing up an offer is determining the purchase price. This is pretty self-explanatory. What are you willing to pay for the house? It's my job to give you all the info you need to make a firm decision on a purchase price. Lowballing an offer is generally not a good idea, especially in a seller's market like we've been in. But if a home has been sitting on the market for a longer than normal period of time, odds are it's overpriced. But either way, we'll look at the comps and see what similar homes have sold for and go from there. A multiple offer situation might be a bit different, and you may have to slightly overpay for a house you really like in order to get it. The second important aspect of the purchase agreement is the closing and possession timeframe. A good rule of thumb is 30 to 45 days to close a loan. Some lenders can close a loan quicker, but we'll need to decide what makes the most sense for this particular transaction. Does the seller need to find a home? Do they need a longer closing period? Might they need a rent back agreement to stay in the house after closing until their next house is ready? Do you need to be out of your house by a certain date? These are all things we need to factor in for closing and possession. Now, if we're in a multiple offer situation, this can be a key factor. If you can afford to be a little more flexible, that might look better to the sellers than some other buyers' offers. If they want to close quicker, you may be able to do that. If they need a little extra time, you may be able to give that to them. The third important aspect is seller concessions. Here is where we can try and negotiate for the seller to pay a portion of your closing costs. You want to have a clear picture from your lender on how much you'll need to bring to the table in order to close on the house, so that way we can know how much we can ask for the seller to pay. We don't want to ask for too much and turn the sellers off, but we want to try and maximize it as best as we can to save you some cash in your pocket. Now, if you really need to have the seller pay a large portion of your closing costs, then we can sort of compensate for that by making a higher offer. That way the seller still gets what they need and you can save some cash. Next up is earnest money. What is earnest money? Check out this video for a quick rundown on what it is, who handles it, and why it's important to a real estate transaction. The next aspect is the home inspection. This is an important one for you. I never recommend buying a house without having a home inspection. Paying a few $100s for an inspection can save you thousands down the line. Now, there is a general home inspection which you should always get, but then there are things you can add on, such as a radon test, a pest inspection, a well or septic inspection if the home has those, and these things are optional, but in certain areas or certain circumstances, you want to have those done as well. The inspections will typically take place shortly after the home is under contract. A general home inspection can take 2 to 4 hours depending on the size and components of the home. Lastly, you want to look at what's included with the home sale. Are some or all of the appliances staying with the home? Is there room for negotiation with those things? What about window treatments or other furnishings? Outside of appliances, these things are usually referred to as chattel and are typically not included in the purchase agreement because they don't actually impact the value of the home. So they're usually handled outside of the transaction with a separate agreement between the buyers and the sellers. So those are some of the most important aspects of the purchase agreement. There's a lot more in there, but these are the things that most buyers and sellers really tend to focus on. In the next video, we'll talk about what happens after the home inspection. Thank you again for watching. Please be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thanks.